I had to make another video about what I was talking about, but Quran, Torah, Talmud, Tophet, Book of Enoch, Book of Thomas, Book of Jubilees, Maccabees, Apocryphas, Book of Solomon, believe it or not, Necronomicon. All these things were actually compiled all together in the King James Version Bible. And what I forgot to say was, you remember sometimes in the Bible where you hear about brother fighting brother? See, the Crusader Knights, as well as the Ottoman Empire, is fucking awesome. That's all I'm going to say. They saved Britain from a bunch of bullshit that no one else wanted to battle about. When I talk about the Quran, that entire book is about spiritual warfare. So thank you, Middle East, for actually staying true to your word and hearkening to God. A lot of people don't get over the language barrier of how many names there are of God. Allah, that's Arabic for God. Jehovah, Yahweh, El Shaddai, Jesus, I Am, the Rock, the Lamb. There are so many names for the name of God. People can't seem to get over that language barrier, and they're still fighting with each other over things that just need to be translated. So what I did was make a playlist called Wolves Run Journey 2.0. And it's not just what I have compiled. It's from everybody. So therefore it's not biased, you know? I'm not completely ripping apart the Catholic institution. But back to brother fighting brother. That's exactly what happened during the Crusades. A lot of men were hired by the Catholic Church during the Crusades, and they were hiring anybody, you know. Get right with God, serve your time, enlist. It's a lot like the military if you think about it. And there are militaries all over the world, but I was reflecting on the peace treaties nowadays. Now, why did I go into that? Well, it's because of Papal Bulls 1493. That's saying the Pope is giving acquiescence for the mass genocide of tribes of man and woman. Now, it doesn't matter if you're Islam, Catholic, Christian, Buddhist, you're a part of the tribe of man and woman. If your great grandparents have serpentine lineage, which is a lot of what UK families have, considering the Queen of England, well, I don't really consider her a queen, but that's beside the point. Queen Elizabeth II, her family, she's the 16th great grandniece of Vlad Tepes, Dracula. So if you also look at all the history between the presidents, we've had 4 presidents that have been assassinated because they didn't want to be a part of the cabal of blood drinking, sacrificing kids, because they understand what was really going on. That's what JFK was talking about. Some of them actually had to forge documentation to be a part of this family. And while all these things are lining up with peace treaties, war treaties, land treaties, that's how you abolish 1493, Papal Bulls 1493. So the Pope, he's able to abolish any law in the United States with just a pen stroke. Okay? When all the stuff was going on in the Middle East and U.S. soldiers were going over to help. See, after 9/11, when those towers fell and during the Bush administration, everybody really got hit to understanding what they overstood, comprehended, and therefore got smarter. Everybody knows that it wasn't a bunch of Muslims or Islamists on a fucking plane with box cutters. You had U.S. soldiers going into cave systems in the ground, subterranean cave systems. That's what a lot of the Al-Qaeda were guarding. They were actually taking care of it, rooting out problems. When they talk about the infidel, they're talking about what every holy text has ever talked about. The seed of the serpent, serpentine lineage. Now, it goes all the way back to Chinese dynasties, Asian dynasties, because they actually had to fight the same kind of creatures. You ever watch that movie Ronin 47? All the cryptids and chimeras they were fighting, you see the same things in Egypt. If you look at the history of vampirism before Vlad Tepes Dracula, you run into a lot of creatures that look like the Sphinx or hellhounds with wings. And that's why this is so important. See, it's very easy to dissuade someone when money's involved and you actually have a war tactic. America has used this time and time and again. You look up the CIA having to do with economic hitmen, right? They go into other countries, they set up a power plant, they talk to the richest families, the princes, the kings, things of that nature, and they're like, look, we got $1 million in this pocket and we got a 9mm Beretta in this other pocket. Now you can play ball with us, or we can just kill your entire fucking family. That's why a lot of wars would break out. There have already been agents that broke away from all that shit. FBI agents, CIA agents, military. That's why education is so important. A lot of these people are tired of the fighting. We're not fighting our brothers anymore. We're not doing that shit just because you want to make a quick buck. History, no matter how you suppress it, bury it, deny it, lie about it, it's like the truth, the light, and the way. It always comes through like the sun. So that's where you get a lot of these historical facts. If you look at Hitler's stupid ass, nothing against the German people, but they knew that's why they had to deal with Operation Valkyrie. They're not trying to be like a bunch of fucking sadistic, genocidal maniacs. He came out with a book. It was his favorite book. He carried it around called Vril the Coming Race. That had to do with the Serpentine race. There's a documentary out right now called Above Majestic. There's also House Resolution against blood drinking, HR 8791. Cannot consume human flesh. Some people have a problem with this because they have a conflict of interest.